So Ilia Topuria has given his return date. If you don't know, Ilia Topuria is currently facing legal issues with his ex-wife over, custody with his children, alleged abuse, and it has halted his, UFC time right now. It's halted his ability to fight. He can't fight right now because he is caught up in all these legal procedures. However, on Twitter yesterday, he gave a response to someone commenting when he's going to fight again, and he said he'll be back in about, here it says, about April to June. April or June, somewhere in between that time frame. And, I just wanted to make this video to kind of go over it and some of the other things that were said and kind of just give my own opinion on it and when's more likely that he'll come back? Will it be April at the start, or will it be more towards this June time? If this is a reliable time frame, that is. Obviously things can change. He can get injured. There could be more legal proceedings that get added on to his own right now. Who knows? But I'm just going to talk about this. And so before we get into that, please like, subscribe, helps out. And yeah, so here was on Twitter yesterday. I think it was last night actually, that this guy said, "Hi, when do you think you'll be fighting again?" And Ilia Topuria responded saying April to June. So we think, or rather, Ilia Topuria thinks he'll be able to fight for somewhere between April and June. Me personally, I think he'll fight in June. If he's gonna fight, it'll be June because June, as we all know, is the White House card, and Ilia Topuria is one of the biggest stars in the UFC, and that's what the UFC will probably want. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna just assume they're making this White House card. There's gonna be multiple title fights. John Anik said last week, like 5 or 6 title fights on the card, and they're gonna want a really good headliner. And Topuria is the biggest star in the UFC, one of like top two, top three, and he'll be a big name. So he's most likely gonna be the main event, if not maybe the co-main event to some Pereira fight or something like that. Who knows? Or Makachev or whatever. And obviously, we have the interim title fight next weekend between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. And the winner of that will fight Topuria. And I believe it will be on the White House card just because it's Topuria. There's no way the UFC aren't going to have him on the White House card if they can. It just makes sense, right? And after that, someone said Arman, like, as in, is his next fight going to be against Arman Tsarukyan? And he said the winner will be between Paddy and Justin. So obviously, the interim title fight, the winner of that is going to fight, Topuria. And one thing, this guy, whoever this guy, I seen this on Twitter and I was like, how are these people like real? Like, how are these people real in the fact that this guy, I don't like. He must live under some rock. Like the interim, like this guy, he's responding to the lightweight champion. Next weekend is the interim lightweight belt, so that means the winner of that will fight is the interim belt. The next fight after winning an interim belt is you unify against the champion, the undisputed champion. And this guy says Arman. Like these people can't be. These people get to vote in society. These people get to like do things like if you vote, this guy cancels out your vote or whatever because this guy said Arman. This guy does not know there's an interim title fight happening next weekend, and it's like I don't get it. But that was just the personal thing I seen. But yeah, so obviously he's confirmed it's again Paddy, the winner of Paddy and Justin Gaethje, like because we all knew that apart from this guy. Which means Arman will. Well, I said this before. I said this like 2 weeks ago, or like 3 weeks ago. No, when did I say this? Like a month ago or something like that when the fight got announced, or like 2 months ago even. And Arman is going to be sidelined because obviously they're fighting in next week, so like end of January. Topuria says he won't be back till between April and June. As I said, I believe it will be June. They'll fight. Obviously, maybe this April June could be like maybe him saying, how say the Justin Gaethje Paddy Pimblett fight is like it's a war or something like that. Maybe it will be more inclined to be in June because then one of them the winner of that will need to recover, and it will be better for the scheduling. But I believe it will be June. I don't know why. Maybe this is just what the UFC have told him. But yeah. So Topuria will fight the winner in June. or summertime. Let's just say summer. He'll fight them in summer, and then the winner of that, hopefully, you'd got to assume Arman's gonna fight the winner of that fight, and that won't until be what? Until it'll be about like October, November, maybe like an MSG. If it's Topuria against say Arman, is that gonna be like an MSG main event? Who knows? So Arman, unless he takes a fight in the meantime, which to be honest, it's like one of those things where he doesn't need to take a fight. This is like one of those rare occasions where the number one contender or some contender is actually like valid. Their validated claim and sitting out, their reason is validated by them sitting out. Because you get people who just sit out for a title shot, even though they don't deserve it. Like they should get another win or whatever. Arman has already done that. He sat out and then knew he wasn't getting a title shot, and then he fought Dan Hooker, and then he still didn't get the title shot because it was the interim title shot was given to Gaethje and Paddy. So he's having to sit out again. So by the time he gets the title shot, presumably will be like October, November, December, a year, one whole year after he last fought Dan Hooker. And that might affect him. Who knows? Obviously, Arman Tsarukyan is kind of doing this like media tour right now. He's on like podcasts and he's doing like he's on Aiden Ross and stuff like that, and he's doing this like America tour right now. So that's happening, I guess, because people are starting to really like Islam or not Islam Arman because he's kind of this. He's actually quite a like funny guy. He's funny. He's like quite. He's got a good personality, and I think it's kind of attracting people towards him, and it's making him more favorable, especially against the UFC. Maybe I think a lot of people are kind of coming to the conclusion that the UFC are like doing over Arman like really badly. That they're really holding him down for whatever reason. Obviously, they gave him the title shot about a year ago exactly, I believe, against Makhachev, but obviously the back situation, he had to pull out, and then it was Makhachev versus Moicano. But nevertheless, the UFC are doing him bad by holding him out, and we'll see what he does. If he fights, if he doesn't fight, it's up to him. He shouldn't really have to fight, but he can do what he wants. Maybe he'll just be eating all his like massive breakfasts. Like you always see him eat those like brunches that are like they could feed like a small village or whatever. Like this big croissant that's like this big and stuff like that, or like not even this big. Like it's like a meter wide or something like that. It's giant. Uh, and then this was the actual thread. Like this is the thread on Twitter, and they cut out this last part, which said, uh, this guy responded to this one, said, Islam Islam will submit you. Guy guess he's Portuguese or something, I don't know. No, Portuguese, he's Brazilian or something, I don't know. Just Pereira. And Topuria responds to that saying, not even in his dreams, he's bad even at dreaming. So obviously, Topuria does not believe that Makhachev, if they ever fight, it's looking much less and less likelier that they will fight, given, Makhachev's at welterweight now, and there's like a million welterweight contenders, and Topuria has to fight the winner of Gaethje Paddy, and then presumably he's gonna fight Arman, and it's like who knows if that fight will ever get made, and it's like you'd think it'd be made for the White House, but but I don't think they're gonna do that just for the like it doesn't really make sense. Like they can't have like Topuria move up or Makhachev move back down. It just wouldn't make any sense. So in the future, will that fight ever get made? I have no idea. I genuinely don't know. It's looking less likely every day. And yeah, he's saying he can't submit him. Obviously, this is just playful trash talk, I guess. Maybe well, he probably believes it, but it's kind of just them going back and forward. There's this beef that Topuria and Makhachev have always kind of had. But yeah, he's saying that he can't submit him, not even in his dreams. So he just basically called Makhachev bad. But that's kind of it. There was just this string of thread, or string of a thread, on Twitter, and yeah, it's quite interesting to see this. It's so Topuria will be back in April or June, which is exciting, or April to June, I should say, and against the winner of Paddy Gaethje. Hopefully that fight isn't like some war. Like, say for instance, like, I don't know, one of them, the winner like breaks their hand or something, then it will be like that. Maybe if like the interim winner like breaks their hand or something that causes them to be out for like a while, maybe they'll give Arman a title shot. That's the only way I've seen Arman like fighting anytime sooner, and I think he's gonna do that. Or think rather they're gonna do that. Like, say if like there's, say Paddy wins but he breaks his hand, and it's gonna take like 8 months to recover. The UFC are gonna want uh Topuria in the summertime, like that April to June time, and I'm sure they will give Arman Tsarukyan the title shot if something like that happens. If one of these kind of, you know, 1 in a million chances or whatever, right? But that's kind of what I talk about. It'll be interesting when he comes back, and yeah, I just assume it will be June. That just kind of makes sense. Like there'd be no reason to not have Topuria on the White House card. Lines up, especially even if Gaethje wins. If Gaethje wins, or there's surely they'll have him on the White House card. Obviously, Paddy's a big, like a giant name in himself, and that'll be a massive fight if it's him versus Topuria. But if it's Gaethje, if Gaethje somehow wins, then that will be good for the White House card. American guy and all that stuff. It's at the White House, Trump. I'm pretty sure Gaethje's a big Trump fan anyway, so he's been in like pictures and stuff. But anyway, that's kind of all I want to talk about today. And please leave a like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.